Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 58 of the Top Loaded podcast. And we are joined by a returnee 12 weeks on. Obviously, our series will be continuing. And first of all, we will not mention the eBay shipping program. Oh, shit, sorry. I've already done it. I do apologize. We will update you that in a minute. But, Harry, how you doing?
Yes, yeah, not too bad, thank you, mate. As you said, please don't mention eBay's global shipping program. It's making me lose sleep at night. But yeah, I'm not doing too badly, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I can't complain at all. I knew I had to sneak that in somewhere. I was going to do a segment about it, but we'll do that once it arrives, just in case eBay are listening. But we are very delighted to welcome back Mr. LGLBreaks onto the podcast to see the progress he's made, and it's been very highly in the last few months. Even though I've made a few guest appearances and ruined them streams, but Lewis, my friend, welcome back to the Top Load Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me on yet again. Literally 3 months down the line, what's it, 12 episodes later, of course. Grateful to be on again. Appreciate you guys having me. And yeah, like you said, Whatnot's been going great. I'm excited to talk about it and all things sports cards.
Yeah, man. That's what I say. When we had you on in January, obviously, we announced that you was going to be the breaker that we was going to partner with this year to follow you along the journey. And it's fair to say that the journey's increased quite a lot since then. I've seen the followers going up. You're closing on 1,000 overall items. So just in a nutshell, how has the last 3 months been for you?
Yeah, no, it's been very good. It's been very good. In terms of kind of filling breaks, I'm having a lot of kind of returning customers as well, which is a good thing. But overall, it's going really good. Like I said, at the moment, when you're first starting, it's really hard to make profit. Majority of my breaks at the moment are taking losses, but I've kind of put that to the back of my head now and just kind of known that's going to be there and just kind of enjoyed the actual breaking because like I said in the previous episode when I was on here, I really enjoy the kind of interactions you have with people. And over time, you have the returning customers, people coming in again and again, and you can relate to them more. They know you better, they know you by your name. So in terms of building a community again, it's getting better and better. But no, I'm really enjoying it. And so far, it's been going really good.
Yeah, and I think the perfect way to say so in your bio, obviously, when you was last on, you did put we're chasing 101. So for the people who don't know, how's the 101 chases been going on the different products that you've been opening?
So the 101 chase has actually been very, very good. So we're in the fourth month now, but we've been doing three sort of months of breaking. I've got three 101s already. I've seen a lot of breakers have theirs in their bio as well, and they might have been breaking 2.5 years or so, and they've got about 15 to 20, and I've already got three in the space of 3 months. Well, to be fair, I think I pulled them all in the last month. I pulled them literally like one back to back, which is crazy. I got a David Luiz Brazil patch 1 of 1 from Chronicles H2. We got a Joe Gomez 1 of 1 auto from Merlin 98, which was a big pull. And then I also got a Hugo Lloris, which was a dual streamer Diamond Crypt, and we both opened the Merlin box each. Funny enough, that one I literally missed as I was opening it because the gold kind of vinyl is exactly the same color as the 1 of 1. I'm going past it, and someone's like, "You missed a 1 of 1." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I go back through, I'm like, "Oh shit, I just missed a 1 of 1," which was crazy. But yeah, 3 1 of 1 so far, which is crazy. And my reaction every time is just like, I just get so ecstatic. I love putting them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you always dream of the big hits, the big autos, the big cars. But obviously, before I pass on to Harry, my last question is obviously there's been quite a few sets that you've ripped. Do you find better success with certain products? Because I know a lot of people watching along see a load of different products. Obviously, now we're in the prime time now, it's Prism galore everywhere.
Yeah.
But I know you've ripped H2, you've ripped Merlin. Is there any product you preferred ripping from, not just from like a selling out perspective, but also in thing of actually enjoyment of opening the set?
Yeah. So from a selling aspect, it's always what's hot, what's new. That's what everyone loves. Like when Merlin 98 come out, I didn't have it for the first couple of days, but then as soon as I brought it in, more people were coming in, getting involved in it. Because anything that's hot, people love. When I brought in Chronicles H2, obviously I brought a case in, didn't do a case break, but kind of split it up, 2 boxer, 5 boxer, and it didn't really do too well. Because at the time, like Merlin was out, so people were getting involved in the Merlin. But in my opinion, Chronicles is such a fun rip. It's nice and cheap. You can pick up boxes for cheap. And like I said, I pulled 1 of 1, so you can get big hits from them. Autos as well. I love really like Tox Chrome, like I mentioned before. I pulled a little Charlie Savage rookie to 5, which is nice pull just from a light box as well. To be fair, Top Scrum is probably my favorite out of all of them, like I mentioned before. But all products I've done, I really enjoy. But of course, from a selling aspect, it's always what's hot in terms of course, what people are interested in mainly.
Yeah, I'll pass over to Harry now to discuss your involvement at the London Card Show with Whatnot and also the last Whatnot Card Show just been. So over to you, Mr. HGA.
Yeah, obviously, previously at the last London Card Show, so you broke live at the Whatnot Creator Studio at the card show. I guess first of all, how was that for you to be obviously involved in the lineup to break at that weekend, and to get your chance obviously to be breaking live, obviously through Whatnot's Creator Studio at the biggest card show in the UK?
Oh mate, it was crazy. The opportunity fell to me, and there was no way I could have said no. At the biggest card show in the UK, the biggest platform in the world in terms of live streaming for cards. So it was just an honor when they first messaged me. Of course, they had the lineup first of all in terms of the World Cup Prism, and then they dropped me a message saying, "Look, we got a slot here. Do you want to get involved?" And I said, like, yeah, 100%. And of course, when I broke there, obviously it was on my own channel. Of course, it gave me the opportunity to kind of break in the area for myself to get a bit more exposure. Because when I'd done it, when was the show? Was it in January, the show?
End of Jan, I think it was.
End of Jan. So yeah, that was my first month breaking as well. So my first month breaking, to have that opportunity to break at the London Card Show at the Whatnot Creator Studio, it was like it was incredible. Like it was really, really good. Enjoyed it a lot, especially when you had all the bigger streamers doing it as well. So it's like I was involved in them when these guys have been doing it for so long, and already I was getting involved in there. So when you're kind of put in there with the Yorkshire Collectors of Crips, SK, when they're getting thousands of followers, it was it was an honor, to be fair.
Yeah, I know me and Ron were obviously sat front row seats watching a bit of the break as you started. So, I mean, I remember when you put it in the group chat, and obviously, you said you've been invited down to break, and I think the group chat went nuts. Obviously, you come such a long way in 3 months to be, you breaking live at the Whatnot Studio at the London Card Show was, a massive, massive thing for you. So, yeah, it's great to see obviously how far you've come from obviously date dot. Have you expected to accelerate this quickly within 3 months, to think, you're already just shy of 800 followers and whatnot, and, just shy of 1,000 items sold? Did you expect yourself, I know you set yourself a target of obviously 1,000 followers by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Did you expect that quick acceleration in the first 3 months?
Oh, no, there was no way I expected this kind of growth so quickly in 3 months. So say I'm on around 800 followers. So I'm going to kind of try and do quick maths now. It's just like, Harry, what's that, 280 a month, about that, right? Yeah, 280 a month followers, which is quite crazy, to be fair, already in 3 months. It's not like I've moved kind of my audience from a different platform, or I moved from Instagram. It was solely just I had the opportunity to go onto Whatnot and to just start breaking, and to already have what I've got is crazy. So I know the future is just going to be mental as well. Like I said, my goal for the end of the year was 1,000. And I'm just shy of 800 in 3 months. So by the end of the year, I don't even know what I'm going to be on. That I have to set a new goal. Maybe we'll set a goal on today's episode. But I definitely have to set a new goal. But the growth rate already has been crazy. Like I said, already have like a community. People come into the stream and say, "Hey, how you doing? How you been?" Just building that community. People coming in again. No, it's just been awesome, to be fair.
Yeah, I remember being in the stream when you pulled the Joe Gomez 1-of-1 auto.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was one of the things where obviously the gold vinyl and the Merlin can't be mistaken for just like the base captain.
Yeah.
So to see it obviously as a 1-of-1 auto, and saw the whole chat was going nuts. So
Yeah.
it's like within 3 months, you already built that community where people are coming back regularly when you go live. And when you pull a massive card, the whole chat just goes mental. So obviously that was really great to see. So obviously you've broken live at the Whatnot Studio at London. And you've also been a part, obviously, of the Whatnot Card Show 2.0.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, obviously, how was that for you? I won't do my ratio again to what I thought, whether it was good or not, because it didn't add up to 100 last time. But yeah, I guess for you as a vendor, if you like, at this Whatnot Card Show, how was it in your experience as a vendor?
So it was fun. I had Ronnie alongside me throughout the stream, of course, helping me out, packaging some stuff up, because I thought it was going to be a really busy stream. I had 100 bookmarks, where usually I get kind of say 15 to 20 bookmarks, which gives people like an extra notification, I think it is, when you're going live. I had 100, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be popping, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be fun. I brought in a load of wax, we got a load of singles, Ronnie bought singles, you had a load of stuff stocked up. And then I went live and I had around 10 viewers, and on my normal streams, I get more than that. Like, it was great to have the opportunity to be on there. Definitely would do it again. But I think where there were so many streamers streaming at the same time, where usually in the UK you might have, say, maximum 8 people live. You had your literally 15 UK streamers live at the same time. You had all the American streaming live, literally all at the same time. So all these viewers that were usually kind of in one stream or in this stream was kind of all completely spread out. So people getting literally 10, 15 viewers. Even the big people, the big streamers in the UK were only putting like 18 viewers, which is really low for the usual streams. So like I said, I think because of that and how many streamers were live at the same time, everyone was just plotting into giveaways and stuff like that, jumping in and out of streams. So overall, in terms of selling and the stream being kind of a lot of people in there, wasn't great. But in terms of having the opportunity to be on there, of course, it was good being a part of the Whatnot Card Show. I definitely would do it again. But maybe I'm not too sure if they would have kind of different technique to go about it next time. But no, it was good fun overall. But of course, just in terms of streaming, it wasn't the best stream possible.
Yeah, I think it gives you more exposure. I guess, you've got so many people on that Whatnot app during that 3 days, however long it was, where, if you're on there, you got this many bookmarks, your name is getting out there, being as, a show about to start or a show currently live. So in that sense, it's great for you because you're getting your name out there, you're getting that exposure from this platform.
Yeah.
However, as you said, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head, where I think if Whatnot were to do it again, there probably needs to be more of a structured schedule in terms of whether they're limiting the amount of time someone can be live, or they're breaking it down where there's not as many people on there. I guess there's pros and cons of both, because if you narrow it down, the traffic through the app may not be as high because you're thinking, oh, no one really on there until 2:00, or no one's on there until later tonight. Whereas if you've got people on there constantly throughout the day, you're bringing that traffic onto the app. Whereas I guess, if you're breaking it down, yes, more people are going to get more views and there's going to be more traffic on at one time. But, there's a lot of pros and cons for and against the schedule that they did and what they can do to improve it. But like I said, the main point is you got on there, you got the exposure, and, it was still a successful stream nonetheless. So, but rolled on to, obviously, to London in just over a week now. And can do it all again.
Yeah, I haven't got no news yet of a message from Whatnot. So we'll see if they drop me a little message to get involved again. But I don't know what their plans are in terms of streaming. I don't know if they're going to do the World Cup Prism again. I've got no idea at the moment. Obviously, nothing's been posted yet, so we don't know what's happening. But we'll see what they got planned, and I'll let you guys know if I'm involved.
Yeah, and like we say, obviously, we've spoken about the previous 3 months that have gone. So if we now look forward, obviously, we said before that one of your main goals was hitting 1,000 followers, which, touchwood, looks like on trajectory is definitely going to happen within the next 9 months. However, if we actually look at products, obviously this week you did actually open the new Premier League Prism.
Yeah.
So is there any things that are taking your fancy that you're looking to try and open or break within the next couple of months, whether it's moving away from maybe one boxes into a couple of boxes, even cases? So is there anything that's taking your fancy at the moment that you want to try and break?
Yeah, so I've broken 2 boxes of Prism. One is a personal, which I'll show you what I got a bit later on. And one I've done just on one box at the moment, hobby box on Whatnot, which I did last night. A couple little decent hits. But Prism, I definitely want to double down and they want to get quite a lot more. Choice has now been released. Choice, in my opinion, I love Choice. I really love Choice. Of course, it's high risk, high reward. You only get 8 cards. But you can literally go to the zoo. You can get tigers, zebra, mate. You can pull very, very nice cards. You can go to the zoo and go get what you want. Of course, you got guaranteed auto as well. Yeah. So guaranteed auto is nice. Of course, majority of them I've seen out of Choice are just base autos. Really hard to hit your number due to, of course, it being guaranteed 1 auto per box. But Choice definitely something I want to bring. And yes, cases I want to bring. On my story right now, I've actually got a poll up for Chronicles H2 case. I've seen all streamers been doing Chronicles H2. Like I said, I brought a case in before, but didn't do a case break. It was more of a 1 boxer, 2 boxer, 5 boxer. So there wasn't a lot of interest. But when people do Chronicles H2 cases, people really enjoy it because people love case breaks. So that's one thing I could do because, of course, it's a cheaper end case. And then also Mosaic T-Malls, which are very similar to Choice in a way, in terms of there being 8 cards. You've got a chance for nebulas and stuff like that. Of course, again, high risk, high reward. But Mosaic T-Malls probably might be up there with my favorite box. And I haven't brought none in yet, which is surprising, but it's my favorite. But like I said, you've got to do what's hot. That's why I've been doing Merlin, been doing Prism. So whatever's been at the moment, I've been doing. So Mosaic T-Mall or Chronicles H2 case Green Wave, most likely, are one I want to pick for a case break very, very soon.
As I say, case breaks is fun because I think a lot of people like buying into a case because obviously if it's one and done really with a box, you like the odds of hitting, like especially Chronicles, you're getting 15 cards per mini box. So there's 5 teams guaranteed not to hit anyway, and that's if you don't double up on teams. So do you feel like case breaks, obviously we do see it quite a bit now, but like you say, the team one especially would be quite a cool one because for people who don't know, the numbering of it's very different to your standard Mosaic, especially that. Do you think that could appeal to more people? Because, for example, for me, I've got some of the cards from the World Cup set, the Road to Qatar Mosaic, and it's a product you don't really see much to Timo. It's like the Donruss, one of it. It's because it's obviously comes out within the Asian market that doesn't really transpond over to the breakers in the UKC.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely a bit different. Of course, you have your black golds. I think the number to 8. I think it's red gold. I believe it is. That's to 88. So cards, of course, you don't put in other boxes. But I've seen other people doing it, other streamers in the UK doing the Mosaic T-Malls. They seem to do really good. People really enjoy it. And I don't see a lot of people doing it. But whenever someone does it, people jump on it. Especially when you've got your chance to get nebulas. Nebulas are a beautiful one of ones. So yeah, definitely something I want to bring very shortly.
Yeah, and I was going to say, have you, obviously looking back 3 months ago, you set yourself targets. Have you set yourself any more targets that you'd like to achieve? Maybe not even just 3 months, 6 months to the year, but actually going forward. Have you started to realign your goals now that you actually accelerated a bit more through the followers and traction?
To be fair, I haven't actually set another short-term goals because I've had the long-term goal, which was 1,000 followers to do case breaks. But you know, while we're here, I'll just set a quick goal just for the next stream, for our next episode. So in 3 months' time, let's say I want to be on 1,000 followers in 3 months' time. So what's this? April's
gonna be what, May, June, July time.
There we go, July. Yeah. So from July, hopefully 1,000 followers, and I want to be able to get 1 to 2 case breaks. 1 to 2 case breaks. I'll be happy with 1 because I haven't done 1 yet. But yeah, 1,000 followers, 1 to 2 case breaks. That would definitely be very, very sick.
Have you got anything in mind, case break wise, you're looking to do next?
Yeah, literally, what I mentioned, even the Chronicles H2 or the Mosaic T-Mall, because cases wise, they're quite cheap. You can get for a decent price around. I think Chronicles H2's gone up. I think it's looking at around $700, $650 or something like that. Mosaic T-Mall's a little bit less, so like $500, $550. So the case is not too expensive for a whole case. I think it's around 20 boxes, I believe it is. So they're decently priced. So that means I can give people the opportunity to get involved for cheaper as well. Because if you bring in Topps Chrome hobby boxes, which can be $120 a box, it's good. It's for someone to get involved in a team, they're going to spend quite a lot. But your Mosaic T-Malls, your Chronicles H2, for example, Chronicles H2, you can split up the Beckham Green Waves, Victor Osimhen, all these big hitters, you can split up differently so they can pick up the teams they want or individual player they want for a decent price. So that's why both of them are very good options for very cheap. So I've got a pile up at the moment. Whatever gets the most votes, I'm going to go for.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be quite fun watching, obviously, the few breaks. And obviously, when the cases do come in, and no doubt anyone who's listening to this right now knows that if the team or Premier League is getting broken, Granite Xhaka spot will be residing with me. I've already put dibs on that and near enough every single set that's ever coming out on a case break. But I see a lot of people do it very differently with cases. And this is quite an intriguing question. I think people might be wondering, how you see people do full teams and pick your players. And would you do it similar to how they do it in terms of your biggest spots, like your Arsenal's, Man U, Chelsea, because there's so much money involved within them ones, you split them up individually, and then your Fulham's, Leicester's, you might just do it like the odd player separate, but mainly as a full team.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, for example, Chronicles, the big hitters in there, you're going to split up. But the lower teams like the Alaves and all these lower teams can go. I can even give them ones away because the lower teams you can give away. Obviously, all the other teams you can sell. And the big hitters, of course, you can split up. Like Xhaka, I'll have that spot reserved for you. And Harry, whatever Arsenal players.
Don't give in too easily to him.
Mate, I bet it will probably hit a Nebula or something as well.
Definitely on every episode of the
podcast. Yeah, they're definitely splitting up the big hitters, which is always best because, for example, if you do Man United all in one in Chronicles H2, that Beckham spot is quite valued. So if you split it up, Man United can go for a bit cheaper, and then someone can get, of course, just Beckham on its own for cheaper. Otherwise, when they're collectively, someone's got to pay quite a lot to be able to get both. So yeah, definitely splitting up is the best option.
As I say, just moving away from your breaking perspective, obviously of the week of recording, you've launched your actual YouTube channel as well in the card team world. So what's the plans as well for the YouTube? Because obviously we've been speaking about your breaking side, but it's good to see more people branch into the YouTube world. So what's the plans going forward with that?
Yeah, no, YouTube, same as my whatnot and everything. LGLBreaks, new to it. I'm really trying to do stuff like just breaking boxes, personals, some vlogs of the car shows. You probably all know the YouTuber Pac-Man in America, massive over there. I think he's closing on around 200,000 followers now, which is crazy. And he always brings in new boxes, whatever's hot at the moment, the new Prism. He'll break it. He'll get the box. He'll show you all the writing on it, explain it to you in quite depth as well. Show you what you can get. So bringing all the new boxes to videos. Definitely something I want to bring. Quite often, the only thing is, of course, is forking out that money to be able to afford doing the YouTube videos, because where, of course, he's done quite well, we can afford it. For myself, I broke a prison box on a break, and that box is like 250 quid, so it's quite expensive to be able to do that. Luckily, I've hit some big cards, but so I can sell them on probably break even. But yeah, definitely want to bring some stuff. Even the new Premier League blaster boxes, anything that's even lower end, anything that's new, bring that in, break it, show people what it's about, show them what you can hit inside.
I think even the new year of scores coming out soon, isn't it? I think I saw that released. I think you can get the pre-order on
Panini's website.
That's it, Panini's website. I was gonna say Smith's, but it's not on Smith's yet. But so yeah, even stuff like that. You know, it's a much lower end break, but we saw how popular obviously last year's score was in terms of hitting the one-on-one lasers and all that sort of stuff. So it's even then bringing into the aspect of that and using that to break in future. If you get a pre-order on that, it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I was going to say,
sorry, I'm doing to buy in.
No, that's fine. Exactly, it relates to my question. So I was saying it's nice to see, because a lot of people, like you say, Pac-Man's one I'd watch a lot, a few others in America. So a lot of that is NFL, it's NBA, it's NHL or MLB, but there's not much actually people preview or even reviewing actual soccer product. And for example, the one you just mentioned, the Premier League Blasters, there's an easy chance that no one will ever know what it looked like unless you're in a break or you buy your own one. So it's good as well that people are not just going high end, and it's like definitely a bit quite cool to see is ripping some of these blasters, because it could be the difference between someone wanting to buy it and not wanting to buy it.
Yeah, it's true, because it'll give them the insight of what you can hopefully hit or what you can't hit. Because if I pull something in the blaster, that's massive. Someone might go, yeah, let me chance it and get one. Or I can pull absolutely nothing and they'll go, let me save my money and put it to something else. Of course, if I pull something, it doesn't mean you'll pull something. But at least they might like the parallels that are inside. If there's different kind of parallels that are in the blasters, they might like and go, you know what, I want to get some of them parallels, so I'll buy that box. Also seeing the kind of odds of hitting a numbered card in the blasters and stuff, which is good to show people. But yeah, bring in lower end and higher ends and show people what you can get from either side of the spectrum is always good to show.
And like you said, the other aspect as well is like potentially card shows as well. Obviously, as of the week of recording, the South Coast Card Show is tomorrow. So I hope everyone has enjoyed that, because once it's gone out, it's already happened. And London obviously is a week and a half away. So there's not much at the moment. Obviously, there's 3 or 4 people who do UK card show content, but is it just bringing people closer to the shows that might not see it, or is there going to be like challenges involved, or is it just going to be dependent on the actual show itself?
Yeah, no, it'd be dependent on the show. For example, London, where it's a lot bigger, a lot more vendors, challenges can be obviously definitely implemented. With the South Coast Card Show, I might just, as I'm going on my own, unfortunately this time, I'll probably just vlog it, show people a few of the stands and whatnot. But yeah, definitely want to bring challenges. later down the line, but probably like trade ups and finding a legend auto, or like you done what you've done with the London card. So have a list of kind of 10 kind of things to try and complete and do it that way as well. But yeah, the first vlog that I do will probably just be showing people about, gain my confidence for it. But then the next video at London, probably do a little trade up challenge or something.
Yeah, that'd be really cool to see. Obviously, we all will be going as a unit. Well, we'll be meeting Harry at the card show, but we'll be getting the train down there. So you'll probably be seeing about 400 cameras in a row, everyone filming the same perspective. But
yeah,
like I say, it's going to be, we might as well slowly move our attention. Obviously, we've seen you like breaking YouTube, but obviously now it's card show season. Obviously, South Coast has just been, London card shows coming up. So, Lewis, are you looking forward to card show season again? And we say this every week or whenever it's coming to card show. It enough does seem like last week since the last one.
Yeah, card show season is the best season. We all love card shows. If there was a card show every weekend, I'll probably be there. So when you got to wait 3 months after for the next one, you're always just itching for the next one. But yeah, can't wait. London card show obviously is incredible. Harry and the boys and the team, what they've done so far is incredible. Really excited for the next one to see if they will implement anything new. But like with the last card show, the top stand, the whatnot, Chris Studio, everything they've done was incredible. So being in that atmosphere with people that collect, people that break, or people that just watch around the hobby, new people, it's always good to meet people that are in the card scene, and I literally can't wait.
Yeah, just as we talk about London Card Show, I want to point out, as this is coming out of the Tuesday, pay attention to Third Down Display's Instagram page on Wednesday night, because they'll be announcing a giveaway for 2 VIP tickets for the weekend. So do go over there, check it out, and enter the giveaway, because the VIP is a lot of fun. Getting there, you get the extra 30 minutes to get the deals before our good friend Jason runs to a certain stand to buy all of the vintage. So you want to get in there before he does. But it should be really good. So go check them guys out. And actually on the London Card Show, especially, we might as well talk a little bit about that before we talk about some other topics. So, H, is there anything in particular you're looking at buying or looking at the card show, or in general, like looking forward to seeing at this show in comparison to the ones previous?
I can't lie. I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing some of this Disney Cacahual. I'm actually looking forward to seeing a lot of it in person. It's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but it's one Aussie box that's been very highly spoken about in terms of a price point. So I'm just interested to see what some of the cards look like in person, in terms of like a new aspect of obviously trading cards. I mean, in general, obviously I was looking forward to seeing saying hello to everybody again and seeing all the usual suspects there, and obviously meeting some new faces, and just getting back into the whole atmosphere of the weekend. The day on the Saturday, the trade night, the pub, Sunday back again. It's just the whole weekend's a really good laugh, and Harry always puts on a good show. Me personally, I guess just the usual stuff: Arsenal, Hamilton, Gasly, etc. I was hoping that I'd have a certain card here for the London Card Show, and I'm hoping it is going to be here for the London Card Show. I'm sure if you would have seen my story at the end of last week, obviously you would have known what that is about. But no, yes, I think I'm looking forward to being back there in general. As you said, it's come around so quickly again. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, hopefully some different vendors. But just, a really good show in general. How about you, mate?
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, everyone knows it's Granite Xhaka, but that's like a needle in the haystack. And we can actually ask you for that actual thing, because she was actually having to find some Xhakas in the haystack. So it's always a similar one for me, Arsenal women especially. Just a bit harder to find some of the stuff, but with the upcoming Women's World Cup, the stickers should be coming available not too far. But I was going to say, it's always intriguing when you do that first. You kind of do a lap or a couple of laps just to kind of familiarize yourself where everything is. And it's crazy. I think we done it the last time. It was in the downstairs hall. And I think the actual lap lasted about an hour and 45 minutes, because you ended up, like you say, you talk to people and then you kind of like, did I look there? Did I not look there? And I haven't been on the Saturday yet since it's moved upstairs. So I know that's going to be mental to see. Yeah. But I was going to say as well for you, Lewis, is it different going there as like a whatnot seller? Because do you look for other things as well? Obviously, not just for yourself, but what you think could do well on the stream?
Yeah, no, 100%. You look at it in terms of, first of all, enjoying yourself, going there, meeting people. In the back of your head, you're also like, cool, let's see if there's any kind of singles, couple quid deals for numbered cards that you can kind of list on whatnot to go ahead and sell. Definitely have that aspect as well. Of course, the last time I wasn't really concentrating on that. I was more concentrating, of course, Sunday and breaking with whatnot. So again, that wasn't me just concentrating on enjoying myself. I was like, cool, Sunday, I'm there to break as well. So it's a mixture of both. But yeah, definitely the next one in the back of my head, I'm going to try and pick up a load of kind of singles as well to sell on. And I just heard you guys speaking about Arsenal, so I want to go ahead and just show the viewers a little card. I done a Panini Prism on my YouTube, opened a hobby box, and I got a case hit. Luckily, the case hit is the Arsenal winger Gabriel Martinelli.
Could you imagine that he comes along with a pickup and we don't even have pickups and it's our own hobby?
I heard you speaking about Arsenal.
Playing us at his own game.
Hey, he's got more Arsenal pickups than us. What's going on?
Hey, I heard you speaking about Arsenal, so I thought, look, I got to show off. I've got the other side of London in there as well. Blue Mojo.
No, get it off. Get it off.
That's just a nice coaster, mate.
But yeah, no, the groovy is beautiful.
Coaster.
For that, I'm going to bring to the London Card Show, as Mr. HJA is interested in picking up a groovy. Really, really nice. It's really good condition as well, just so you know. Really good condition.
Guaranteed 10.
Yeah. It was.
No, yeah, guaranteed 10. Yeah, just so you know,
Money back if it isn't gem, yeah.
No, yeah, like I say, obviously it's coming up now, the car show, and it's always great to see people. But in general, like the market, I just want to briefly talk about the market, because I don't know if you obviously we see it differently. eBay is a very weird place at the moment of card prices, auctions. Some things are going for dirt cheap, some things are going for really expensive. But then I was listening to a very interesting podcast out in the States that was talking about comps, and it was very intriguing because a comp obviously is just a rough guideline, and I'm going to ask both your opinions on this. However, it's impossible to ever know your recent sale because Facebook don't see them, card shows in person, Instagram. So on the subject of comp, obviously it's an area that's much debated within the hobby. Like, for example, you start a view list. Like, when it comes to a comp, how I see it it's just how much someone wants to spend on a card. Obviously, it's a good guideline. Say, for example, a card's going for 150, 140, 150. You know it's roughly worth that. But then if it's the only one left and someone wants it's 200, you've got to pay a price. So how do you see the comp world? Do you kind of use it as a vague like judgment, and then at the end of the day, it's just really how much the person really wants to pay for that item?
Yeah. So I go off both aspects. I go off being a buyer and I go off being a seller as well. So being a buyer, you want to pay comps. End of the day, you don't want to overpay for a card. Of course, if you could pay less, you'd pay less. But say, for example, this Groovy Martinelli, I saw one sell for $90, but then I've seen 3 for $200. So then how would you work that out? Do you just go 200 and 90 with a discrepancy? Or do you just kind of get the medium between all four? So I would put this at like 130, 140, for example. But yeah, what I'd go if I was a buyer at a card show and someone said they wanted £50 for this card, I'd give it a quick little search and say if the recent sale was 40, I'll say, look, recent sale is 40, I'll give you 40. And that's how I think it's fair as a buyer to offer exactly what it's recently sold for on an average. So make sure you look at kind of the previous 3, 4, so you know over the past few months, that's kind of the median average. As a seller, if you don't want to sell it for that price, you haven't got to sell it for that price. If a seller said, look, end of the day, mate, I know the recent sale was 40, but I want 60 for it, that's what I believe it's worth, then that's completely fine. End of the day, it's a seller's card. If they want to get that price for it, they of course can get that price for it. But as a buyer, personally, you've got to make sure you're paying that kind of comp, unless you look at the card, you're like, oh, that's got a bit of damage to it. Then it maybe will be worth a bit less, because if you're going to go grade it, it's not going to get a good grade at all. So the value, of course, will be downgraded. But yeah, like I said, as a buyer, ideally, I'd like to pay at comps. But as a seller, if you don't want to get that and you want to get more, of course, you can just try and get it from a next customer.
Yeah, and over to you, H. Obviously, it's that same question. Comps is a very funny one, especially when it comes to car shows, because you get some people that are adamant that comps are the only things to go by and that's the be all and end all. But it's got to come just a bit of common sense at times with comps, and realise that it's a very tricky one. Like I said, we've been at shows before, especially with our spending challenge at the last one. I think it was a good thing to see that a price is not always a price, that most people have movement, but you sometimes just got to be confident enough to say a lower price or have you got any movement?
Yeah, I think you could sit and talk for comps about a while. Personally, I feel like, comps are sometimes a bit of a sticky conversation in the UK. I believe they're very heavily pushed in the US. And I think you base a lot of sales off of comps in the US. But in the UK, it's not really as heavily used. The thing with comps is I feel like for new products, like it is for Prism, I feel like, Lou, like you said about the Martinelli Groovy, there's some that are at 90, some are at 200. I feel like for comps with a new product, you need to almost use that as a benchmark. Like you're never going to find a solid price on a brand new product. Prices will be high, low, everywhere you can think of, because still a brand new product out. In terms of like comparing it to a comp, it depends how long the comp was. If you're looking at a comp that was 3-4 months ago, you can't really compare it so significantly to that. If that player has been unbelievable since that last comp and his price has gone up, you aren't going to pay X amount for that card 4 months later. If the comp was from a week, 2 weeks ago, you can give or take play with that price a little bit. But I will always.
Sorry to butt in. This Harry Kane that I've got, Blue Mojo to 25. A recent sale, not of Kane, but Rashford, same one, went for £65 on bid. But then an Ila Melier, of course, the goalkeeper, but only went for, I think it was £9, which is it's still the Blue Mojo at 25. So where does Harry Kane, for example, sit in between that when he hasn't got any comps? So I don't know where you'd kind of value that.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things where it's like you look at it like, Melier, he plays for Leeds. He's a goalkeeper. That price point is going to be nowhere near as appealing as the likes of Kane or Rashford. Yeah. So you almost set the benchmark in terms of, right, you got Melier probably this side of your benchmark, and you got Rashford this side of the benchmark. At what point between there do you set Kane?
Yeah.
Now, for me, I'm sitting Kane potentially in the middle a little bit more towards Rashford. So if Rashford, say, went for 65.
Yeah.
So if Rashford went for 65 and Melier went for 9, I'd be probably putting Kane at around about 45, 50.
Yeah.
Again, without seeing like a direct comparison, Rashford will be your best bet. But in my opinion, would compare that to that, knock a little bit off. Yeah. And that's what I would use around maybe 45 to 50. Someone will probably correct me or someone will probably disagree. But personally, if that was me selling it, I'd be looking at it around that. But again, if someone came to me with an offer, you haven't got anything to base it off.
Yeah.
So you're basically basing it off the same parallel of a similar-ish player and then using it around that. But yeah, I think for me, comps will always be something I'll check on, whether that be eBay recent sales, whether that be 130 point. I'll always use it as a base to see the rough value of a card. And like I said, it depends how long ago that comp was in terms of how comparable it is to this day. But yeah, it's always difficult with the new releases. Like I said to you, Lou, you're going to get prices that are going to fluctuate up and down in the first couple of weeks after release. Like with the Martinelli, you got some at 90, some at 200. Do you think, where do you comp it? Do you comp it at 90? Do you comp it at 200? Do you comp it at 150? I think for me, comps would always be a good base to go off, especially when you're unsure of a value of a card. It's like a base point where you can be like, you know what, cool, there's similar-ish stuff going for this price, or there's this card that sold 2 weeks ago for this price. The guy's got it for 100 quid more. Realistically, you ain't going to pay 100 quid more. But yeah, I don't know if that's really answered the question or not, but that's my view on comps.
I think it's spot on, to be fair. And it's one of them that people who don't always go card shows or go into their first one, it's just there's a couple of talking points I wanted to talk about and it's quite intriguing as well, because people who've been experiencing the hobby the same amount of time, if not longer, short, always have conflicting interests. I think it's a really good talking point. And my next one is, how important is it knowing how to tell a condition of a card, especially if you're buying to grade? That has a massive impact on the price. So say, for example, I feel like I've got quite a trained eye now to look at a card to be able to see roughly what a condition is of a card. And it can have a massive factor in a card that, for example, once upon a time, I bought a really nice Granit Xhaka off Whatnot in America. I mean, it was to 5. So I weren't too bothered about the condition. But then when I got it home, it's got a scratch on it. And it's near enough impossible to see under lighting. So do you both, I'll start with you, Harry, on this one. When we're actually buying cards at shows that you're potentially going to grade down the line, how much do you value the actual quality of the card, and do you actually really look into it, whether it could be a good grade, or even ask for other people's opinions at show? Because, like you say, there is submitters at these shows who do look at cards and tell you the condition of them.
Yeah, it's difficult. I know me, every single card that I have purchased in the past, I've never once checked condition. Like cards I bought at card shows, cards I bought over Instagram, eBay, whatever. I've never once gone, what's the condition like? I just haven't. It's probably my own fault. But the cards that I have graded have come back 10s or 9s. So I'm like, I'm not clearly doing something right. But I think, the more and more like I've made sort of my scans for like my Instagram posts and I put it under like a ring light, I'm starting to notice a lot more now the surface marks or the soft edges or the white marks around the edges where I'm like, oh, like I didn't see that. So I feel like, how much it would devalue or, increase the value of a card if I was like, that's going to 9 or 10. Because you can't, in my opinion, you can't stand there and go, that will PSA 10 100%. You can't.
True. Yeah.
So it's like, you can't sit there and go, you know what, this card's worth 200 quid because I'm telling you now it will PSA 10 100%. You can't really do that. So it's like, if you're buying it to grade specifically, yeah, have a good eye for it. Understand what the main point you need to look out for in terms of the surface, the corners, the centering. But also, if you aren't bothered about grading it, it is what it is. It's difficult though, because not everybody has knowledge within the grading market and what to look out for, how you determine what grade it is. I'm only going off corners, centering, and surface when I look at cards in general. But like I said, I've never once bought a card in the past and before I bought it gone, let me check the corners or the surface. So yeah, it's just everyone's different. Like I said, if you're buying it to grade it, I'd expect nothing less. But if you're buying it just a PC piece that you're going to keep raw in a mag or whatever you're going to do with it, it's one of the things where it is what it is. But yeah, if you have the eye for it, it's always worth double checking it over and over. But how much that, like I said, devalues or increases the value of a card depending on the condition, obviously is another question. But I know people list stuff on eBay being like corner damage, so hence reduction in price. Fair enough. You're not going to sell £50 card with a bent corner for 50 quid. You're going to sell it for a bit cheap because it's not going to get a good grade if you grade it. So yeah.
Yeah, over to you, Lewis. Obviously, the same question. Like when you, especially, I think as well for you, when you are, it's got a caveat as well. Like you're buying, even selling a card, like through your whatnot or anything like that. Obviously, we always like to see people listing up potential defects or talking through it. So, do you think that's a massive part as well? Is the transparency, not just as the buyer, but also the seller on the actual condition of a card?
Oh, transparency is huge through breaking, definitely, and of course selling singles too. For example, I listed up a couple singles on one of my previous streams, and if there was a defect too, I think one had a little crease corner. I said before I list this up, let me just show you the damage. My recent comp was 35. Of course, I know it's not worth that. And I started it off £1. I think it went for like 15, so it was at half the price, which is fair when a card has a damaged corner. When someone might buy that and think, yeah, I'm going to send it to grading, but then when they receive it, they're like, oh no, this corner's awful. But as long as they know at the start, yeah, the damage is this. Of course, they're happy to pay a lower price just to have it in a personal collection. For example, I bought a card at the London Card Show, a Rodrigo Auto, someone at PC, the 75 from Merlin, I believe it was. I bought it as soon as I looked at it in his stand, straight away the corner hit my eye. It was really badly damaged. It, like, in my opinion, wouldn't get better than a 7. It was quite bad. I showed the guy the comp. I think the comp was £70 or something, £75. I said, look, the comp is this. Again, this is going off comps again, like we mentioned before. I said, look at the corner. I said, it's really bad. I said, it's not. We know it's not going to get a good grade at all, and there's no fixing it. And he happily took 60. He wasn't too happy. He was like, oh, it seems quite cheap. But then over time, we was talking. He was happy to take it due to the damage of the card, and of course that little bit of reduced price on the comp. But just for me being a personal collector, with having that, of course, I wouldn't grade it because the grade would be terrible. But it's nice having a personal collection. But of course, again, the transparency is key, and always just showing the seller, of course, damage is here, so of course, get the right price for it.
Yeah, and I was going to say, as we're talking about card shows, The Saturday of the London Car Show is very limited availability on tickets. So if you are definitely wanting to get down for the Saturday, and just the Saturday, head over to Eventbrite as soon as you hear this, just to try and see if there's any available. But always pay attention of the weekend tickets if you're doing both, that they are still available, both VIP and normal, and Sunday still available. So if you are thinking coming along to the show, make sure you check out the ticket website. And then obviously there's some good stuff on there as well. Some London Car Show merchandise, which will be available at the show, which is going to be very interesting. And obviously we do our weekly pickup segment, even though it's never really that successful. Even though we might have a couple here and there, I'm still waiting on a few to arrive in the post. And it's quite good having a guest along to see if they've been picking up anything. Or obviously he's picked up an old Premier League Prism hobby box, which is a nice one. But H, have you had your eyes on anything, even if you haven't bought anything?
No. I'm basically saving my funds for London now. There's been a few things that also I've seen like, oh, that's quite nice, especially on eBay. A lot of the new Prism parallels. I think I saw Ben White Prism red to 99 color matched on eBay, which I think is still on there now. But otherwise, I'm pretty much just saving myself for London at the time of coming out next weekend. For now, 2 weeks time. Yeah, just been really going to save myself for that really and see what I can pick up in person there. There's nothing really too much happening in terms of buying on my end. Just still waiting for that card to come through the global shipping program. But yeah, apart from me, mate, I'm all eyes on London.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, I've ordered a few bits waiting for them to arrive. There was a Frida morning tops now from the UEFA Women's Champions League quarterfinal that Arsenal progressed through, which obviously will be a waiting game to have that one arrive. Then ordered a few Mesut Ozil Prisms from 2019, which obviously is still waiting to be arrive. Oh, there you go. He's found Red Mojo.
Red Mojo to 99.
Very
probably £9.50, 24 hours left. So I might chuck a bid on that.
I'm going to say very decent price. Very nice cards as well. We look forward to seeing some of them at the card show. And then otherwise for me, picked up a few more Arsenal women's true rookies, which I've been hunting after, even though one of them's coming all the way from Australia. So that's going to be fun to see how long that one takes. And I was shocked when I got to the shipping and it said it was £2.95 for shipping, which was absolutely fantastic. But over to you, Lewis, obviously, for people who don't know, if you just quickly say like who you do actually collect, your PC, and then also if you've picked anything up, and also likewise, are you actually thinking, have you got your eyes on anything? Or I think most of us are the same thing, just saving them quids for the pub at the card show.
Yeah, no, definitely. My PC is Rodrigo from Real Madrid and Mikhailo Mudryk, of course, now at Chelsea. My two recent pickups is a Rodrigo Peacock from Mosaic. Nice. It's really nice. It's quite clean as well. Haven't had a deep look at it, but it looks to be quite good. Definitely something I want to grade very soon. Condition. And again, some of these Mosaic parallels are really nice. Again, the Mosaic team or case break I want to do, you can get, obviously this is not we Premier League, but Peacocks, the whole parallel is just really nice. And then story about this one, as you know, on Tops, you can buy the cards that come out. For example, this one here, you know, when they release when they sign for Chelsea, for example, or if they score a goal in the Champions League, the Tops nows get released of that moment. When Mikhailo Mudryk signed for Chelsea, I said, yeah, definitely want to get that. Ordered 5 cards. And luckily, I was one to get a parallel from Tops. So 21 out of 99 rookie card. Nice to have, considering I PC him as well. I have got a couple in America, the Tops Deco rookies, 2 greens out of 99. So waiting for them to come from America as well. So yeah, my PC is getting bigger for Mikhailo Mudryk. At the moment, he's not doing too well, but I'm going to believe in him. I know you guys aren't biggest fans because he chose the old Chelsea over Arsenal. But I think he's a great player. Long term, especially hopefully now under Lampard. Hopefully it will succeed. But yeah, either way, I think these 2 players are going to be great. And these are my 2 recent pickups.
They're lovely. Like I say, hopefully when we revisit in 3 months, you might even have the American over and a lot more. But like I say, for anyone who didn't catch you on the first episode, this is going to be a season. There'll be 4 episodes.
Yep.
That'll be in it, let's say. So where should people find, not just your breaking now, but also your personal YouTube?
Yeah. So Instagram, whatnot, and YouTube is all the same, which of course is good. Just LGLBreaks and everything. You search up LGLBreaks on YouTube, it should come up. Same again on whatnot, same again on Instagram. So drop me a follow on all of these to stay up to date. Of course, hopefully cage break coming soon. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. And Mr. RP Training Cards will have Xhaka, so you won't be able to have him. But anyone else, guys, you're interested in, let me know. But yeah, make sure you stay up to date for all the breaks and updates.
Like we say, we look forward to seeing the progress and the goals being achieved, and we look forward to welcoming you back on. But yeah, again, thank you very much for joining us on the Top Low Pod, and we wish you all the best for the next 3 months until the next meeting, or pretty much when we hopefully will be in a case break hitting a 1-on-1 Granite Jack.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
And like I say, any other closing words from you, Harry, for this episode before we do tease our potential next episode? I think it's a pretty obvious one that we're going to have next week in the build up to the London Card Show. Having, we can say we've got a London Card Show special coming up next week where we hope to be joined by some very special guests. But any closing thoughts of the card world of the week that's just happened, or even the week coming up?
No, I don't think much more for me apart from the fact that Burnley have just been promoted back to the Prem. That happened about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think anything. I think everyone's just really looking forward to, obviously, as I said, at time of recording this, obviously South Coast tomorrow, because me and Ron unfortunately can't make it to. Obviously we've got London in obviously 2 weeks from today, but at the time of recording, obviously week and a half away. But no, yeah, I think all eyes are towards the card show season now. Obviously very much looking forward to getting back down to Sandown. Obviously, meeting up with a couple of the guys down there. Apart from that, mate, nothing else to add from me.
Like I say, it's been another great episode. And yeah, again, we do thank Lewis LGLBreaks for joining us on the Top Level Podcast. We look forward to following his adventure and journey over the next few months, and hopefully see you and a lot of other people coming up at the card show. So, but most important, if you do see any of us, come and say hello, or even on Instagram, drop us a message. But thank you everyone out there for watching, listening along, and most importantly, I hope everyone out there staying safe, enjoying the hobby, but most importantly, happy hobbying, being groovy, and good night.